Hey, I'm back with another video. Go ahead and hit that like button and go ahead and sub up if you ain't. Go ahead and leave your comments, man.
This is what we call going in our yard, and there was no airplanes, and you can look, there's no sun shining. Watch this. What in the world was that?
It's definitely something there. But what it is,
So we all just got woken up to some disturbing sound all through the whole area. I just called 911 and they said they've gotten like over 50 calls about it.
in this case, I don't know what I'll do. But I know 911 won't do nothing. She better off just rolling her windows up and minding her business.
Guys, we already have med beds. They're called cats. Just get you a few of those and put them on you and let them do their thing. Cats purr are healing. Like the frequency of a cat's purr is healing. It can regenerate organs. It can fix bones. It can heal hearts. So just get you a few of these bad boys. And just stick them on you. Wear it like a heating pad. They love that shit. Oh, this motherfucker is helping cleanse my lymph nodes. Healing my throat chakra. And his name's Mercury, so.
Judging off this video, she might be that lady walking around the work smelling like cat piss. Like, why would you sit there with a cat on your neck? Don't get me wrong, I did hear the cats do have healing properties from their purr, but not enough for me wanting to have it just chilling on my neck like that.
You remember when you were younger and people used to ask you, what you want to be when you grow up? And you used to say, a singer, a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor, a superhero, veterinarian, an artist, a lawyer. And when you answered with your whole chest. Difference is, back then, you wasn't chasing no career. You was chasing your calling. You was speaking from spirit before you let the world teach you how to let ego drive. And you let society, your family, and your friends get in your ear. That don't make no money. That ain't even realistic. Go get you a real damn job. Then boom, you go from co-creating your destiny to clocking in for survival. But I need y'all to hear me when I say this. That very thing that you said you wanted to be, that was not random. Y'all know ain't no such thing as coincidence. That was your purpose speaking before it even had language.
I can definitely see where she's coming from. Me personally, I think it's programming. Because I can remember getting asked that question when I was a kid, and the only thing I can remember was answers that I heard from other people. Because you really don't know what you're going to be. I guess some people just had that gift that can tell from an early age. Who knows? Let me know in the comments.
For the concept that takes captive audience to a whole new level, China is testing restroom machines that make you watch ads in exchange for toilet paper. And I wish I could say that I was making this up, but this is the future that we're living in. Here is a video of it. You have to scan a QR code on the machine, then watch the ad on a website. And once the website confirms that you have watched ads, then the machine will dispense some toilet paper to you. And I thought that I was going to be living in the dystopian future of Demolition Man, where the 3 seashells were going to be the most complicated thing I had to learn. But no, I have to watch ads for toilet paper. Now, we always like to put ads in places where people can't opt out of them. Airports, unskippable ads, pause screen ads. I cannot imagine the amount of suffering that I would have to go through if I'd use the bathroom really bad and had to watch an ad for it. But
Whoa, they trying to monetize off anything, ain't they? Like having to watch ads just to get some toilet paper. What if your phone dead? What if you lost your phone or can't find your phone? I guess you shit out of luck.
Unpopular take, but those people who be like, oh, let the baby cry it out, let them sit there, you don't have to pick them up, are the very same people who would quite literally shit bricks if you were to not listen at them when they were trying to communicate to you their feelings, thoughts, and opinions. Because essentially that's the same thing you telling the baby. Same with toddlers. If they throwing a temper tantrum or if they upset and visibly showing emotion, that's because they don't know how to process it. They're trying to figure it out just like you, but temporarily they do know how to cry. So what they doing, they trying to communicate to you. See, the problem is we done got so caught up on language. We done got so caught up on using words that y'all don't realize things are literally natural to you, embedded within your being, ancient wisdom, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people don't want to listen to the youth, don't want to hear their truths, but at the same time, they want to be heard. They want to be recognized. They want to be respected. Personally, I'm not finna respect you if you sit there and not listen at a being that is trying to communicate something to you, especially one who is very vulnerable. Ashe, baby.
Shopping malls proof that we live in a simulation.
I'm in the mall. Coming to the mall makes me realize we're living in a simulation. Like, this can't be real.
Has a
You're
point.
telling me this place right here that has 2 people working in there, they're selling enough hats just to pay 2 employees. No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's not real. Like, some of these stores, like, okay, like, maybe, right? Like, women's lingerie, underwear, whatever. The Buckle, I don't know. People still shopping there. Now you're telling me this place, Icing, sells enough $2 earrings to pay their rent?
There's nobody
This
there.
place, what do? They're selling nail polish and candles. It's not, no, there's no way. Or phone cases? No, not happening. This place, okay, they're selling Dreamcatcher earrings and rocks. Never met anybody that bought one of those from the mall.
There's
It's
nobody
all
at the
fake.
mall.
It's all fake.
Like, once you start really thinking about what he's saying, it kind of makes sense. Like, their rent at the mall for these stores has to be in the thousands, and they have to pay employees. But when's the last time you went to a mall and they were actually busy? As always, stay weird.
I'll be having that same thought when I be strolling through these malls. Money laundering. But we ain't gonna speak on that. But every time you walk past, it's like, wow, nobody's in these malls and they ain't making money, but they stay with the most up-to-date merchandise. Leave your comments below.
Shopping?
Here is exactly how technologies can get possessed. Your cell phone, your computer, your TV, and that little RoboVac. So about 2 to 3 years ago, Geordie Rose, founder and former CTO of D-Wave, which is a quantum computing company. If you're unaware, most quantum computers look like this. It's a big black box. Looks familiar, doesn't it? I'm going to show you why it looks familiar exactly at the end. He not only says super intelligent aliens are coming to Earth. Did you guys hear about the 3-Eye Atlas comet that's coming? But he was also caught on camera during conferences saying, my computers, the computers that I've built and founded, these computers allow demons in. That's what he said, demons. Now I'm going to tell you exactly, through a scientific perspective, how demons can actually possess your electronics. First of all, understand that everything is made up of electrons here on this planet. We know that this is fundamental fact. Electric charge electrons are the medium for spirits or demons to come and interact with things that are already charged. That's the number one thing I want you to understand. The second thing I want you to understand is the soul, the concept of the soul, which is just a ball of energy. It's also probably made up of electrons. The consciousness that is operating through me right now as I'm talking to you is a soul. Where did that consciousness come from? It's not from my brain. We all know this by now. And any scientist who argues that your consciousness only comes from your brain, they need to step up their game. It doesn't. It comes from the ethers. Now, in the spiritual world, we spell ethers as E-T-H-E-R. However, some people spell it A-E-T-H-E-R. Aethers, ethers. My vessel, this meat suit, is optimized enough for a complex ball of energy called the soul, which is a consciousness, to inhabit my body. Because these big companies are building extremely complex quantum computers and robots and androids, literally, what's the difference between a very complicated android and a human being? At this point, very little. We have veins. These androids, these robots, they have wires. That can count as veins. We have a brain. They also have a brain. We have eyes. They also have sensory processors. Something very similar to eyes, if not identical. The difference between us is that we are carbon beings and they are silicone beings. Other than that, any soul can inhabit that android or that robot or that quantum computer. Now, the founder of the D-Wave company said that the demons are going to come through these computers. It inhabits demons. It gets possessed by demons. The demons come from the aethers, or ethers, if you will. Just like how the soul came from the ethers, it came from the beyond. Because that is what God or source or the universe is. It is the beyond. This consciousness that controls everything is a fragment of God. Now, as we understand what God is, it is everything and everywhere, right? So that means God also has fractals of consciousness that are not so nice, that are quite evil. Now, if I were some nefarious demonic entity or alien civilization that exists in a different dimension and I cannot access your dimension because my physical body cannot handle being in your density, what am I going to do? I'm going to send my consciousness to your dimension through a different medium, through a robot, through a computer, messing with your technology, so that I can start to program you to get used to me or to submit to my control. Now, this is the Tefillin. I want you to look very closely at that little box right there. This is what they do to pray. I don't know about you, but that looks like a plug to me. You know when you plug your computer in so it turns on? Or am I just reaching? I don't think I am, because that just looks too modern. Remember how I said that black cube D-Wave computer cube looks familiar? Does it not look familiar? Oh, and I'm not just going to target this specific group of people. There's also this, right? You'll see instances of this black cube in almost every single culture, modern or ancient. This is not the matter of religion anymore. This is the matter of why is this there? Seriously, why is it there? And why does it look so modern? And I live in New York, right? I go by Wall Street, which is the World Trade Center, ever so often, and there's always some sort of cube art, cube symbology. And I've always found that very interesting, even in high school. And now I kind of understand why. I think the ones who, run this scene, they all have something to do with that black cube. They all worship the black cube. Now you want to ask yourself why they worship the black cube. Since we're going to talk about fallen angels and nefarious aliens, you know how in the Avatar movie where they were trying to infiltrate the Na'vi people to get the energy from the Tree of Life? They had to create fake Na'vi hybrids. And these hybrids were to kind of ease their way in and be like, oh, no, we're like nice people. We're just going to show you our way. But it was just for colonization. You don't think that the people who are running this scene have a specific bloodline tied to this black cube worship? Or why do they worship this black cube? Maybe it's because their parent species, the ones that hybridize with them, the ones that created them to look like us, are from a completely different dimension, are from a completely different planet, and they can't touch base here, so they have to do it another way. That is all I can say about this topic without my video getting taken down. If you're curious to learn more about the true origins of the human species,
A world where demons possessing electronics ain't far-fetched, but I don't know. The way things going, the way they talking about AI can become consciousness.
you
seen these? Russia's got some of the weirdest rock formations in Siberia that I've ever seen. There are 7 of these, and they got me wondering why we shoved these into the ground before we had the wheel. There's a menhir in France that fell over, and it was 280 tons. There was actually a row of these things, kind of like the Russian formations. If humans did this one time, that would be very impressive. But there's hundreds of these things. And if we count stone circles and dolmens, there's over 35,000 ancient megaliths in Europe alone. Most people are going about their day and not thinking this is weird, that they're aligned, huge, hard to carve boulders, and they use perfect geometry to do this. I want to know what they're for, and I think they labeled them. So out in space, there's these things called X-points. It's where the sun's magnetic field and the Earth's magnetic field cross and connect. And when they connect, that energy goes back into the Earth and creates the auroras. All of the megaliths that we know are man-made sit along that line where the auroras are. Then you have debated structures like the Sage Wall in Montana. If it is man-made, it'd have to be so ancient that it almost looks natural, kind of like Gornaya Shoria in Russia again. The only way that they would be man-made is if they were so ancient that they appear to be weathered and eroded to the point where we can't tell anymore. All of these sites are on the Aurora ring around the planet. Above this line, you enter an area of highly charged particles flowing into the Earth. Perhaps back then, someone was aware that by linking the sun and the Earth, you get the core to spin. That field would protect the atmosphere from getting blown away like Mars. Now look at the stone again. Are we looking at a pretty pattern? Are we looking at the Coriolis effect that's generated by a rotating Earth? Let's go back to Newgrange. We have some rotating fields that create a grid and then a map of that grid. If you're going to tell me that that curbstone is not that map, you're crazy. So theoretically, we start off with the very ancient stuff to get the whole process started. And then we come along and we create this new grid system and connect everything together. Best part of the entire thing is in Nordic mythology, there are these giants that are